All right, hey there, welcome back to Twin Stick Garage. So this week I thought I would give you a break from Peterbilt and give you a little bit of Pontiac. So as you know, if you've been following the build or be following the channel, you'll know that I've been grinding away on the Peterbilt every week, sanding, doing body work, trying to get that thing into paint before winter, and I'm ever so close. But in the background, in parallel, I have been working, well, not necessarily working on the Trans Am, but kind of collecting up all the components I'm gonna need to turn Bandit 1 into a street monster. And thinking about it further, I should probably rename it from Bandit 1 to Frog 1 because I am building it for the missus. But I really want her to have a fun, head-turning, old-school muscle car that's just reliable and fun to drive. So I've been working with various companies, been ordering stuff online, it's slowly and surely but trickling in. But the most important thing on an old school muscle car, obviously, is the drivetrain. So a lot of people, when I first started this build, they're going, oh, do an LS swap, do an LS swap. I'm like, no, that's nothing against that. I mean, LS motors are incredibly powerful and reliable. You got to fart around with the electronics, but a lot of guys like them. But I'm building an old school Pontiac car. I want old school Pontiac power. So that's why soon after I bought this car, I found an old 400 block, or 6.6 liter for all you metric guys out there. And I tore it all down and I sent it to the one company out there that still believes in old school Pontiac. They're a company called Butler Performance out of Tennessee, and that's all they do. They got their start with the dad, Jim Butler. They had their own drag strip, can you believe it? And they would actually race cars and build engines, and it kind of turned a hobby that turned into a business. And even today, so David Butler, Jim's son, and Rodney, the two brothers still run the company today, and all they do is old school Pontiac. Now, I couldn't find anyone out there in the world that has as much experience and knowledge and know-how and supply of old school Pontiac than Butler Performance. So they were the company I had to go with. So I sent the block down there to get the guys to give it a once over, to line bore it, deck it, do all the 9 yards, blueprint the whole thing. And I actually got a call a while back from Dave Butler, and he said, Mark, come on down here, we'll show you the shop, we got your engine all done, and we're ready to ship all the gear to you, but why don't you come down, make a little trip to Tennessee, and come and see us. So that's what I did. And there's David Butler and his beautiful TA. Oh, I love the chop. That's pretty sweet.
Tell it's dirty, we drive them down here.
Attaboy. That's what's supposed to do with a car like this.
Yeah, that's right.
I got a buddy with a General Lee, and he's like, when you get your TA built, you got to make sure that we go racing through the mud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know about that, but he's convinced. So what year is this one? 77?
78.
78, yeah.
Yeah, 4-speed car.
Oh, 4-speed too.
Yeah. Basically all original.
Oh man. Mind if I open the door?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh. That is cool. How long you had the car?
Less than a year.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. Yeah, well, mine's a long way off, but it'll get there. I'm gonna have to get one of these for Mrs. Twin Stick. She was always a Pontiac girl, and now I'm building her. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys got some great stuff.
We just took that brand over this year, and we opened it up at Norwalk at the Pontiac Nationals, and sold about everything we had just in no time. So
yeah, I have seen them on the Instagram. You guys have some of that posted. Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, here's a little shipping department. Pretty efficient over here. So we ship out 70 to 100 packages a day.
Globally, right?
We do it globally. Yeah, we literally ship out 3 to 5 international every single day.
Oh,
So
that's
keep
fantastic.
every sample, everything we have made or help manufacture whatever. We keep all of our original samples. We try to match them together and make sure, a lot of these parts that are reproduced that they
match
stay
up.
within spec and they still match. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so it's cool for us because everything we sell out here we use in the engine shop. So we
So this is your inventory, but
it's
then you also
inventory,
sell it if people
showroom,
want to come down
and-
here.
Yeah, and we use it to build engines. So if we stock it, we literally use it. So
Nothing but Pontiac.
nothing but Pontiac.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We have a few things LS, just with those later model Pontiacs that came out. But
Oh, right.
don't do a crazy amount with
Yeah.
those. So.
No, that's cool. So you guys are the biggest Pontiac supplier, performance supplier in the world.
Yeah, and there's a couple other companies out there. One of them we partner with a lot. We buy a lot from them. They purchase from us as Ames. They are a lot of your restoration style parts. So
Okay.
they're a good company to deal with as far as out of the performance side. You get into the restoration side.
Nice.
They're good guys to deal with. So this is a great engine. We just literally got it out of the shop and sold it within minutes. It's kind of our
No kidding.
600 horse, 620 foot-pounds of torque.
455 is bored and stroked, I'm guessing.
400.
Oh, it's a 400 like mine. Okay.
467. Yeah, it's
Okay.
got all forged internals, anti-rock heads, ported heads, Northwind intake. It's got the Sniper Stealth EFI,
Yeah.
Hyperspark distributor, ignition system that's kind of plug and play with all the Sniper EFIs. And then the way we do our program is we build our own package and we sell it as a crate engine. We still will machine customers' blocks.
Yeah.
It's kind of like yours. We're going to bring it in, do all the machine work, blueprint it,
I-
put it with the parts,
I got to put it all together.
and then send it back. And if you're a shade tree mechanic kind of guy and you can do it, we also ship it to your builder. And then we'll also help you find a builder in your area.
And then
get
they
you
can
to
put it
somebody-
together.
yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to worry if you're not a
So
motorhead.
we published a list of those guys because what we realized is we went through our customer list and the same shops ordered from us for years and years and years. We just realized if they stayed in business that long,
Yeah.
and they've been buying that many parts, they're reputable.
Yeah, yeah.
And we trust them because they buy from us. And so anyway, we started putting their names out if they wanted to, so we could get customers to have a guy relatively close to them to walk into the shop.
Yeah.
And that always helps. And then we still support all of it.
Oh, that's
A
perfect.
few things, if you want to check out, we got a few things from Mickey Thompson on display. It's always cool to look at. We got Big Chief's heads.
The original heads.
Original head, yeah, from I think it's maybe Rocky 3. And then he signed all the things that he won, with our engine. And combination, like all these are all the races and all the races he won with it.
Look at that crazy old manifold.
Yeah, there's a cool story behind that.
Yeah.
That was actually, we picked that up at Norwalk at the Nationals this year, kind of like at the swap meet. That was said to be originally owned by Mickey Thompson himself, and then he sold it to the people we bought it from. So it's a pretty cool.
What a cool piece. Oh, right on.
And then these are original Mickey Thompson heads that were actually on the Challenger 1.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, what neat pieces. And what's the block?
So I'm sorry. So the block, actually, let me go back on that. The block is what was in the Challenger.
Okay.
That was powered with 4 Pontiac 389s, aluminum blocks that were never came from Pontiac. He was on.
He made his own blocks?
He was on their R&D. So what he did is he actually had access to go into the foundry, and he had them cast an aluminum block. So 4 of them ended up in the Challengers in 1960. Set the world speed record for land speed record was 406.
But why didn't Pontiac jump on that? Just aluminum was too expensive, or they just thought it wasn't robust enough? That's crazy.
I don't know. But then the other side of that is then these heads, same thing. He had just access to go in and, he could basically sketch something out at night and then go in.
Yeah.
And they would just make him a mold and pour him something. These heads are actually on the dragster, the double blower Pontiac dragster. So what he was able to do is if you'll notice, there's no intake ports on it.
Yeah,
So
that's
he
wild.
Put them all on the outside so he could run these big blowers that were like out of industrial trucks. So he literally in the late 50s and 60s
They're probably off Detroit diesels or
was
something.
doing boosted stuff, back a long time ago.
Interesting. How about that?
Yep.
Wow. That's quite the history there. Awesome.
So this is a shop, full machine shop. Then this is our 5-axis Haas CNC. We do a lot of different things on this machine. We actually quarter cylinder heads. That was the main reason we put the machine in. But we also make a lot of parts. So we make billet valve covers. We make a lot of fuel pump block offs.
So that's how you can do the billet valve covers. You just punch it all in there and then just machine it out whatever you want.
So what we do is we actually start, Brian, almost, excuse me for 1 second, we actually start with a full solid piece of billet. So what we do is we start with a solid piece of billet.
Yeah.
And then what it does, it cuts the profile out. And this is actually one that's already finished operation 1.
Yeah.
And we'll turn this upside down
and then machine out the complete thing.
Side,
you start with a solid piece.
Yep.
Oh, so you can make anything you want, basically.
Make anything you want, any design. We logo them. We do all that kind of stuff in the machine. We cut breather holes. We actually thread mill a cap into that, so you screw a cap right into the valve cover itself. Because we have the model and we leave some extra material on the inside, but we make a lot of different parts. Brian here.
Hey, Brian.
Runs our
Nice to meet you. My name's Mark.
Yes, sir.
CNC machine, and
So what are you working on here, Brian?
Just putting some valve guides back in the heads.
Okay.
Have to remove them for the porting.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So these heads have been through the porting process, and he's going to clean it up and deburr them. But you can see the port. They're enlarged.
Oh, yeah.
And these actually were enlarged to what? 325 CFM.
To match the exact size, so you don't have any impede of them.
So that's
flow.
what it is. More fuel and air equals more power. So we actually take aluminum is a big upgrade. It flows a lot more than even a ported cast iron. But then we take that one step further, and these are ports that we've developed and then consistently done in the machine. So get a good surface finish, good airflow, and makes a lot more power.
Very cool. So you take something that's good and make it even better.
Make it even better. That's right.
Right on.
This is the block machine, so this is the process your block went through. So once we clean it, mag it, pressure test it, do all the kind of things, just to make sure it's a good block. We're going to bring it in. We're going to line bore it, line hone it. It just really starts the foundation of the block out because everything's straight. Then we can deck the block, get everything nice and square, and then we're going to come in and we're going to rough bore it.
Yep.
And then we're going to final bore it to the piston to wall clearance. On the pistons that we pulled specifically for you. So we're not.
So that's why we had to
anything.
define those before you even started doing
we're
the
not
work.
assuming any numbers. We're literally our machinist is super good He's going to mic the piston and he's going to set the clearances. He actually, one thing he does that, if you think about it one way, it's kind of frustrating, but it's not for the consumer. Is he'll come in and he'll pick main bearings and bring them back. He's like, this one's out of spec, and he's going to, transfer and change main bearings until he gets the ones he wants.
Wow.
That are within the spec that they need to be so that the clearance is set properly. And
So there's no guesswork at all.
no guesswork. Everything's very accurate.
Huh.
So
Very cool.
we got head build room. So we also keep a test engine in so we can mock things up. But we assemble all of our cylinder heads in here.
Ah.
So
Oh, very cool.
people talk about the cleanliness of the shop.
Yeah.
We literally don't get ready for anybody. This is how we work every day. We like to be clean. We like to.
Well, that's the right way.
It's easier to work in. It keeps you more efficient. You feel better. You're more confident. And
Yeah, I could take lessons. What I'm going to need to do, because I've been doing body work on my Peterbilt in the shop, so there's dust everywhere. So before I unpackage anything and start building this, I'm going to make sure it's all clean and washed down.
So this is our engine build room. So got a lot of different things in here. We do a lot of different. Rodney does a lot of things with race engines and things as well. So a little bit of everything in here.
Wow. Yeah, like what's the deal with this guy?
This is an all billet.
Block.
Yeah, all billet block.
So what kind of power would that thing make? All
They
done.
can make between 2,000 and 3,000 horsepower.
2,000 and 3,000. Wow.
Yeah, and I may be off on that, but it's at least that much. Yeah. And even doing all the, I had all the CNC up here.
Yeah.
And I designed the ports and everything. So as we were going through that process and learning just the machining side, it gives us a new respect for the guys that can also do this. This happens to be, I think this is Bisner, and it's amazing what it's art. It's a lot of engineering, a lot of research and development, and then just super good skill. And you can see the different,
Oh, wow.
huge heads and billet crank, and it's just amazing what those guys can do with pieces like that.
And it's all been machined. It's not like 3D printed or anything like
No,
that.
it's all fully machined. And what they do is, because some of it you don't have access to, because some of like the machine, the capability to
Can't
come
get
through
in
one
there.
side to get in. So
Yeah.
what they'll do is this is O-ringed. So literally they do it in pieces.
In halves and bring it back
Throw
together.
They're O-ringed together. And,
Hence all the bolts all the way along.
yeah,
Wow.
So to think about that, it's an amazing amount of engineering and just
Yeah.
cool capability and
Incredible. So the whole block is just milled.
right out of a
So this starts like a cube, like those,
just like the valve cover.
just like the valve cover.
Ours is a big block of aluminum in it. Yeah.
Really neat. So how long you guys been at this location?
I think we've been here about 14 years or so.
Blocks for days.
So yeah, one of the things we want to keep as many Pontiac engines on the road as we can. So we do buy as many cores as we can.
As you can
find.
get your hands on.
Yeah, we buy them. We even pay when someone wants to sell us a block. We pay to bring it in. We pay all the money.
Pay all the
They
shipping.
have there's no anything that they have to do. So we bring it in. We pressure test it. Clean it. Just make sure it's going to clean up to a bore that's still usable. Those kind of things. Sometimes we'll have to sleeve them, but we want to keep as many.
Well, they're getting harder and harder to find, right?
Yeah, they are.
And you don't keep any of the the 500. What's that awful number?
557.
The 557.
So what's
You just
crazy-
pass on those,
What's
or what?
crazy about that is those are still good blocks, believe it or not. It's just there's a capability
Oh, there's a
that you
limit.
need to stay. That it's only capable of so much power. And what it is the mains are thin.
Yeah,
thin the
they
mains
thinned it
down.
out to save weight or something, is what I
We've got
read.
one somewhere if we could show it off, but what it is they thin the mains down. So what we'll do with that one is we'll build those, but we want to stay stock stroke or 4-inch stroke instead of our 4-250 stroke, just to keep some of that pressure off of the main journals.
Otherwise, it's just putting too much load on
you
those
get too much
journals.
load and they will literally snap. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but other than that, they're still good engines. I came in, they were in that 75, 76 year models, and there was a lot of them out there. So still very good blocks. You just got to know the capability of it.
Just can't get too crazy. Huh, that's awesome.
But with that, we now have access to aluminum blocks, cast iron aftermarket blocks, and aluminum. So these are We helped develop these with all Pontiac, and this is the. And there's
Big
other
old
aftermarket
4-volt
blocks
mains.
You can it's on the market for Pontiac. This is the one that we build. So these come in like 4 145, 4 245, and 4 345 bores. So then you can make 505 and 535 cubic inch Pontiacs out of this. So,
Cool.
yep.
You guys got tons of inventory just stacked up.
Yeah, we try.
50 years from now, you guys are the only ones with Pontiac engines.
We hope so. We've got, I think we got a test engine. Yeah, we got a cool little test engine on the dyno. Something we've been working on that we haven't released yet is, you'll notice that's a tri-power EFI.
Yeah.
So we're soon to be coming to market. Is you'll be able to buy a tri-power EFI from us.
Well, that'll be popular.
You'll be able to buy it as a kit, bolt onto your own intake, or you'll be able to buy the entire kit fully assembled from us, ready, literally linkage hooked up and everything, ready to drop on your engine. So the tri-power is just iconic in Pontiac. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
Three deuces,
But it was brutal to try and tune and set it up.
That's crazy.
Unless you were an artist or a magician.
We've had a lot of good luck. It's just you got a lot of source, a lot of different parts. There's some parts you're going to have to make, things like that. But it's going to be a really cool system.
Oh, right on.
So
And that's coming soon.
coming soon. Yep. So this is kind of the thing you see the most coming out of Butler right now. Like I said, we build our crate engines and we sell them very fast, but this is what we do the most of. It's kind of like what you have.
Yeah,
Is
kit
we're
it all.
going to help our customer get their block in. I mean, we'll sell a core block, but we want to use your block.
Sure.
We're going to bring it in. We're going to clean it. We're going to fully machine it, blueprint it, just like we would take it into our engine shop and literally assemble it. But then we're going to send it back to you fully blueprint with all the parts you need. And so this is basically an engine kit. This one's probably a short block with heads.
Yeah.
But you'll see a lot of these out because this is what we do a lot of. And then because the assembly process is kind of the time consuming because you have to do the assembly, get it back, dyno it, check it for leaks, then start tuning it. This we do within sometimes 8 to 10 weeks.
Because there's no assembly, so it's a quicker turn.
No
So a couple
assembly,
months.
yeah.
So if a guy's got an old Pontiac that's got a tired engine or that late 70s we're talking about with David, it's a little thin in the skin, they send it to you guys.
Absolutely.
Just like I did. Then you build it all up and then just get all the gear to go with it and then just assemble it, put it back in the car.
That's exactly right. And we try to make it easy. You know, not everybody knows how to ship one in. So we're going to help you. We're going to do all the paperwork for you. We're going to quote all the shipping. We're going to get you all the documents. We're going to make it as easy as possible for you to get in to us. And yeah, so then you got the same numbers matching original block that came in your car, and you can go stock stroke and make it a nice stock looking engine, or you can also go stroker kit, you know, be it 500 horsepower plus, and it still look original.
Yeah.
And even now with the Edelbrock heads, one thing we're doing is we're doing what they call a stealth package. We'll literally mill all the logos off. So once you mill them off and paint them, unless you really know what you're looking at,
Because once it's painted,
it really looks original.
just like a steel head that nobody would know. You've been doing a lot of those stealths? That's a pretty neat idea.
Yeah, we do quite a few.
Oh, that's cool.
The shop, so behind the wall where all the blocks are is our cleaning room.
Okay.
So that's where all the cleaning, we try to keep all that confined. We get these old nasty blocks like the rusted up engines, and we get them in there and get them cleaned. And
Yeah.
once they get to our engine shop, you know, we call it, it's like working on new parts. We just start putting a bunch of new parts together because everything.
It's like new again. Yeah.
Like brand new again. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then this is your
Oh,
here.
alrighty. So what do we got?
So a little bit of everything. So we went ahead and brought the block out. The block's on one of our engine stands that we designed. So we actually even ship these. So we can screw that to a pallet. You can put casters on it, roll around your shop.
Yep.
But this is your original block.
Oh, looks like new. I love the classic Pontiac paint. That's what I was going for there. Right on. So what'd you guys do to it while it was here, other than clean it up and make it look like new again?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, you kind of almost start at the bottom. It's fully line bored and line honed. Like I said, all the journals are measured. so that we have proper clearance for your application. A lot of people don't understand that clearance is not just clearance. It depends on how you drive the car. Where the car is going to be, is depending on how you set clearances. What RPMs is it going to be under? Is it high RPMs? And there's a lot of things that go into that. So we set all the clearances, everything based on your application. So fully line board, line home.
Yep.
It's been decked. And then obviously, cleaned and made like new. All the old galleys are cleaned and brushed out. Then we've rough bored it. Then we've also final honed it to get your particular piston to wall clearance set.
So now are the pistons numbered, so I know which one to put in there?
They don't. They're all. We measure each of those pistons. We mic them all to make sure they're within their own tolerance.
And then you
can go into any cylinder because we're going to make sure these are within each of their own tolerances. So you literally can put them anywhere. And one of the things our machinist does, he will literally number your bearings.
Yep.
With the engine side and the main cap side.
Okay.
In your package, your mains are labeled of how to install because he knows where they were. He's mic'd them. And then he wants you to put them back in that same
So it's
place.
not just a kit that I'm going to open up and randomly toss in there. It's like almost an instruction guide on the mains.
Exactly. On this pallet, basically your rotating assembly, which is going to be your crank. It's been neutrally balanced. Then you got your rods, pistons. These are Ross pistons that are a Butler forging. And we'll show you one of these real quick to see. So this is a forging made specifically for us. We got some cool new capabilities that we're doing with pistons now, but these are the Ross
Wow.
Butler forging.
So with that, what are we going to end up with the compression ratio? Did you guys do the math?
Yeah. So doing the math on that, if you are 4,250 stroke,
should be right at 10 to 1, I believe is what we
Oh,
said.
10 to 1.
7cc heads.
10,
Okay.
10, 2 to 1.
Do
Yeah.
easy pump gas, 93, 91. Won't have no problems at all.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
So one of the cool things that we've done partnering with Ross is Pontiac changed their compression ratios based on cylinder heads. So you can get anywhere from a 65cc to 111cc head.
Okay.
Well, we go to stroke that. If you have anything under a 96, you start to be above pump gas compression ratio. Then you get into thing where you're going to need to run race fuel. You're going to get pre-detonation if you don't, things like that. So what we developed with Ross is this actually is a thick crown piston. So we have a program in our CNC that we actually can cut a dish into this.
Oh, okay. So if you want to adjust it, you can just throw those in there.
Adjust it by we pick the dish size based on the compression ratio you want. If
Yeah.
you want 9.8, we're going to do the math. We're going to choose the right program that cuts you whatever size dish we need. We're literally going to cut the dish right into this, right in our shop. What it does is it keeps up. We can order our pistons more in bulk. We can buy more, save money, but we cut a huge lead time down. Instead of 8 to 12 to 16 weeks.
To get a custom cut
couple
somewhere
days,
else.
We're going to pull these off the shelf within a couple of days. We're going to send them through our CNC.
Turn them down.
Cut the dish. We're going to CC them. We're going to verify that you get the number you need.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it right here in our shop.
Oh, that's perfect.
It has really been a huge benefit. And we keep these in all the stock strokes, all the common Pontiac bores. We have them on the shelf.
Very cool. Now, this was 30 over. So did you guys go 10 more? And we're doing 40 over?
So if it was 30 over.
Because I think there were 30 over pistons that when I took it apart.
This right here. Yeah, we probably, depending, and that usually, the way we choose that is just depending on how the block can clean up. We're going to always do the smallest one. So we stock these pistons 4150, 4155, because sometimes you can clean up with just honing 5 more out. We also have 4160, we have 4181. Then you get into the 455, we have 4191, we have 4211. But we're normally going to go as small as we can. It just gives you more life in your engine. I think in this one we ended up having to go 60, so I think we're 4181.
Okay.
In this one.
Yeah.
So what that does, it's going to give you 400. I think it's going to be 467 cubic inches.
Oh, so it's a little bigger than the 461 or whatever. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
It's a little bigger than 461. I have to look at your
Okay.
paperwork. I think that's
Yeah, so we got the...
yeah, 4181 doors. About that.
All right, so we got the Eagle crank and rods.
Eagle crank rods.
Did you guys do anything to the crank?
We did. We actually balanced that. The process of that is they're going to bring it in. They literally will open every one of these. We check and verify all the dimensions and measurements of those when we get them in. But what he also do is he's going to unwrap every one. He's going to weigh them. He's going to weigh the pin. He's going to weigh the piston.
No
We're
kidding.
going to weigh the rings. We're going to weigh the rods, but we're also weighing them all. They need to be within a certain tolerance. So we know rod to rod we're within a certain spec. So once we get all those weights, he does the math. We're going to spin the crank, and then we're going to actually drill that crank to
No kidding.
freely
So-
balance to what we call neutrally balanced, meaning you don't have to offset a flywheel or a flex plate.
Yeah,
Finish
with
the
some kind of
balance,
balancing weight
which
or
is
something.
like what Pontiac did from stock. They call it stock balance or externally balanced. We don't. We do internal, which is neutral balance.
So did you have to take any weight out, or you?
They have to take a little bit. It's not a lot. The one thing Eagle does, because they're aftermarket, they're already pre-designed to have an aftermarket rod. So the aftermarket rods are lighter. The pistons are lighter. So they're already, we'd say, counterweight cut to a certain amount, but we do have to take some out.
Ah, okay.
So it's not a tremendous amount, but and then the flip side, some of the people that are running, they're just buying an aftermarket crank, and they're going to run their stock rods, stock pistons, and just do a stock rebuild. Sometimes you have to add weight to the crank, so you have to put heavy metal in, which is it's pretty expensive because you got to drill it, weld it in, So it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a big
I was
process.
just trying to think of how you would add.
So a lot of that, by the time you pay all that process, a lot of times you just buy another set of aftermarket rods.
And
They're a
you're
lot
just
lighter.
yeah,
you
and
don't
you're
have to
saving
do
some
that.
weight
So,
there, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, got a lot of parts. Got the break-in oil, filters, everything for that.
What do we do with the cam again?
Now that I would have to look. So this is one of our Butler grinds. So what that is, that's an 80-30. And so what we've done over the years, Comp has a few Pontiac grinds. But what we found ourselves is based on certain combinations, like the power we're trying to make with your cubic inch, your block, with these heads, we kept ordering certain lobe numbers that we just know worked well in Pontiac combinations.
Yeah.
So what it is, we partner with Comp, and we actually have our own brand of cams. They're in the Comp box, but these are called high torque cams is what we name them. So they make a ton of torque. They're very good cams. They're efficient, and then we can set the lobe separation. So we are actually able to do is we can go in and pick which lobe separation for your idle quality. So if you want a real aggressive idle, we'll put a
Yeah, I think we picked something that was reasonable. I want to chop though. What do we end up with?
We ended up on a 112. It's gonna make and it's an 80-30. It's gonna make a lot of good power, and it's gonna have a really good sound. And I'll tell you what's so crazy we started doing, because you're buying that off of numbers. A lot of people don't know what's that going to sound like. So what we started doing is we reached out to all the customers that we sold these cams to. So I
Let's hear your exhaust.
I sent out there and said, hey, I got an idea. If you'll send me a walk around of your car, just film the back of the car. I'll send you a t-shirt, just whatever.
Sure.
And man, we had people just flooded in. So you now can get on the website, go to this cam number, and chances are
You'll be able to hear a video.
Hear a video with it. And what I did is there's a lot of other things that dictate what the sound is. Your cubic inch, your heads, your EFI.
Sure.
And then
A lot of
your
variables.
exhaust, your headers, or your manifolds, what kind of exhaust, what kind of mufflers. So I put those specs on the video.
So
that
if
you
someone
can see.
really wanted to copy it, they could go, oh yeah, I'm going to
They
get
go,
Flow
"You know
Masters
what?
or whatever.
I love that sound, and I have a 461, and I have Doug's headers or whatever. I'm going to get that same exhaust because that's the sound I want. Or, man, that's a little too aggressive. I probably need to back mine down a little bit, or I want more aggressive. So it's a cool thing that lets you literally hear and I don't know anybody else maybe that's doing that.
That's a hell of an innovation, because that's always why when people want to put the cam in is what's it going to sound like.
What's it going to sound like? We get it every day, and we're trying to, with words, tell them what the idle quality, but...
Oh yeah, it's hard to...
But you go in there and put a smaller exhaust and a real quiet muffler, you're not going to get the same sound as
True,
another guy.
you can
So
muffle it down.
We try to give those details.
All right, on.
Like I said, you got Doug's headers.
I can't wait.
They're super nice. You got this new one. So Doug's reached out to us a long time ago. They wanted to come out with a line for stainless. Stainless are expensive. A lot of times they're $2,000 for a set of headers.
Yeah, I can't believe we're going with stainless.
And we could. They really wanted us to be exclusive, so we weren't able to come up with a deal with that. But later down the road, they released an entire line of stainless, and they've been good. A lot of times they're cheaper than coated.
Oh, no kidding.
They're all stainless steel. They're all made right here in the U.S. and they're super nice headers. And sometimes they're, like I said, they're less than ceramic coated. So.
Oh, right on.
Yep. So you got a Butler Pro oil pump. I don't know everything that's been done to it because it's so technical, but basically what they do is they take a milling casting. They do a ton of machine work to it. They lap in everything. They put some oil grooves in. There's a lot of other things they do. And on top of that, they just take a rough casting. Milling does original oil pumps, and they work. But they take that and they just make it better. And they go through and they basically blueprint the oil pump.
No kidding.
So that's what you have here. So,
custom oil pump.
yeah.
Right on. And what's the rest of the all this is gonna go?
Yeah, every bit of it.
Oh man, this is quite the kit.
A lot of cool things. We have our, even here, little things that a lot of people just don't understand that we do. I'll just take a head gasket, for example. You think, well, I can just pick up a Pontiac head gasket from
Sure.
Pro or anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we call a Butler spec water hose. And this is just a prime example. This hole here in our die is set to match the block side. Some of the other guys, this hole is a lot bigger. It's closer to this size.
Okay.
And it's really close to the cylinder wall.
Ah.
So what we do is our holes are smaller because the water's only going to go through the smallest orifice. So ours matches the block side, and what that does, it gives you a lot more material between the water hole and the cylinder wall.
Where you don't want it,
This
yeah.
is a lot less likely to burn out right there. We've seen a lot of other gaskets burn out right here. So just little things like that. Valve cover gasket.
You guys have done a lot of innovations in how many decades?
A lot of
Well,
things,
when did Butler start?
I would really have to find the year. I don't know.
But it would have been in the
It was
70s?
in the 70s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Rodney and David have been racing their whole life. Started with Jim, buying and selling Pontiac cars and parts. And, the boys started racing. They were fast. So naturally people want to know, what are you doing?
Yeah, wait, where'd you get the
Pontiac's
engine?
going really fast. And lo and behold, it turns into a business where people want that engine. If they're running that car, they want those parts. And literally that's how it started in a nutshell. So yeah, it's a really, really cool store. It's family business. Jim, when I started here, I've been here almost 10 years. When I started here, Jim was answering the phone in the afternoon. He'd come in, he comes and talks on the phone, and just pleasant to be around. Dave's mom works in the office, and Rodney's the chief engine builder. It's just a really cool small business that's still a family-owned company.
Family owned, second generation. It's just fantastic. Yeah. Oh, it's got a really good feel to it.
So here's our little surprise for you.
Oh,
So yeah. So what we did is, I kept asking.
those are beautiful.
Asking Chuck, we love custom valve covers. It's one of the things we do here. So we asked Chuck, and he's like, "Well, we think Mark wanted just something kind of normal." We were like, "Well, we can't just do totally normal." So,
Oh, that is
so we did
beautiful.
a set of our custom covers. We milled in the retro Trans Am, we call it. But this one's one that there's probably only one other set in the world that's designed like this, that has the Pontiac and the Butler at the bottom. And then we put the Screaming Chicken on a couple of your breathers. It's got our
Oh, that's
got our oil fill
beautiful.
cap, really nice oil fill cap that's bolted in. So that it's O-ring, so it's a pretty cool
Oh, wow.
oil fill. It's gonna be on the passenger front.
Beautiful.
Really
You
nice,
guys went above and beyond with that. Thank you
We
so
love
much.
those custom covers.
Very cool. Very cool.
So a couple other things. There's heads we'll get to. One cool thing is
Yeah, it's like Christmas morning here.
we partnered with Scorpion. They make our Endurance Series rockers that we've been running for years. So if you get online, you see valve covers off and you see some blue rockers. They're going to be Scorpion rockers.
Okay.
But there's a lot of math that's just always assumed in any rocker manufacturer. So what we did is we reached out to Scorpion directly and designed a rocker with them. We branded these as true ratio because we've done the math.
Really?
We know the ratio. When it says 165, it's going to be 165. It's just some other, like I said, there's just some math and geometry that they have to hypothetically take into account. So a lot of times a 165 rocker could be a 169, 17, 171
Not
when
exact.
it really comes out.
Sure.
So every rocker that we sell like this, We sell a 1.5. We actually do now a 1.6 that you don't have to slot your push rod holes, because a lot of times you have to slot it for a 1.65 because you're actually changing the angle of the push rod.
Yeah, sure.
It actually gets a little closer to the post.
Yep.
So you have to slot the head, which we do that in our CNC program. We slot those. But we sell a 1.6 so a customer can get a little more lift, but they don't have to go through that machine work process. So, and it is truly a 1.6, which we are doing a 1.65 for your application here. So
Oh, that's awesome.
really cool rocker, very nice, good quality.
I love the little Butler that you guys put on there
Yeah,
too.
we had to get Butler put on it. They're made in Florida. They're another one of those American-made companies. So
Right on.
um,
So then the heads?
yeah. So last is going to be, let me step around this side more.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
And
I
this
almost
one.
don't want to cover those up.
So this is. So
Oh
this is the
man.
Butler heads. We got them all taped up. So this is the ones that are, we just talked about it a minute ago on the CNC.
Man, that's
So very nice
gorgeous.
port work. Like I said, we take a head that's already a very good performing head as far as an upgrade from cast iron. We've done all of the port design. We actually do this in-house. It's a couple of years of development, but we really have control over these ports and models in our software, and then we write the tool paths and we literally put it in the machine and mill it out. And like I said, you saw that process up there, but it really opens them up, and I think we did 325s on these. Yeah, adds a ton of air and fuel. And then there's a second thing we do that just goes along with heads is anytime you restrict it, you restrict your airflow. So you got to start at the top. And so what we do also is we port match the intake ports to match this. So it doesn't do you a lot of good to have a smaller intake port emptying into a
Kind of
larger.
defeated the purpose if
You know,
it just
yeah,
stops on
you
that little
just,
edge. Sure.
You just choked yourself off before you ever got to the larger ports in the head. So we do a port match. We now do it in the CNC. We modeled it, and we now run it in the CNC to get that consistency. So you literally can lay a gasket on this and it'll be a dead match, and you can lay it on the intake and it'll be a opposite mirrored dead match. So that when you line it all up,
Sweet.
you have a good direct path. And so we do all the work. We do all the machine work. CNC, we do the valve job.
You did a valve job to it too?
We do. Yep. Once we CNC them, we actually have to do a valve job. So we'll do that. We'll fit. We'll hone the guides, and then we also slot the push rod holes so that you can run a 1.65 rocker. And yeah,
Gorgeous.
that's the process.
So what are the size of the valves on these ones?
Usually they are. Pretty sure they're 211, 177.
Okay.
Is the valve size. So a standard Edelbrock head is a 211 166. So we're already doing the valve job.
So why not open it up a little more?
Why not open it up a little more just to grab a little more flow? Beautiful heads when they come out.
Let's start.
So we also, the one thing about, we offer a couple of things, even if a customer doesn't need the airflow. So maybe they don't need the CNC porting, but Edelbrock sells an out-of-box head like this, fully assembled. Very good head. We sell lots of them. They're good. They're consistent. They're good quality. But we also will take a bare casting, just like we did on this head, but no CNC work. We will blueprint the head and we'll build it. So we call it just our non-ported series.
Okay.
So we're going to take the same casting that Edelbrock uses for theirs. We're going to do all the machine work. We're going to do the valve job. we're gonna blueprint it. We're gonna set up the coil bind. We're gonna do all the math on the heads. We're gonna match it to your cam. Make sure the springs are matched to your cam, and we're gonna build it, and it'll be a Butler version. So we do a non-ported now, and we just actually started doing that over the last couple of years. So that is an option from us as well.
Huh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the transmission from California Performance.
Basically, what they do is they do an entire kit, and so an original Pontiac core, and then they fully machine and build everything in it, and they put a package together with the right stall converter, everything together. They guarantee every bit of it, and we sell a lot of their kits. It's really like a turnkey kit.
Yeah. So just throw the torque converter in there and slap her together and into the car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think this thing's rated for like up to 700 horse, if I remember right. So, yeah.
Yeah, those guys do a good job. The late Art Carr ran them for years until he passed away, and they've picked right up and continued his legacy, and they've always been a very consistent vendor for us. When we're at Butler, we're reluctant to sell things we don't install.
Right.
So when you get to a radiator, a transmission, a fuel tank, some of that stuff that we're not physically putting on the car, we can't check we have to go based on customer feedback and just the the quality of the vendor. And then are the vendors going to support our customers? Because if they're not going to do what we want them to do,
Then it makes you guys look bad.
It makes us look bad.
Sure.
The customer doesn't get a good product, but CPT has been one of the best ones. I mean, rarely ever have a problem, but I know I've contacted Art Carr before, and he's like, "Hey,
We'll make it right."
Give me his phone number."
Yeah.
And Art will call him
that's
himself,
awesome.
take care of it, and but other than that, we just don't have any issues. Those guys they know what they're doing. They've been in business a long time, so definitely we don't mind partnering with somebody like that.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great. Wow, what an awesome setup! I can't thank you guys enough for pulling all this together for me.
Oh man, that's awesome. We're big car fans too. That's the good part about what we do is we can't wait to see what they end up with. You know, the cars. We did a really cool thing on social media is we sent a little. I guess we send it in our packages that just says "Show me your ride," little card, and we want people to send in pictures, video. We love to share that stuff, but then we post it online.
Yeah.
Show me. Overwhelming response. I came in and there was literally almost 200 comments that looked like a car show. Wow. There was pictures, videos, and just people just talking and having fun with them and complimenting each other's cars. And so we reached out and we're shooting out, man, we're sending out t-shirts every day. We sent out a ton of t-shirts for just people that were willing to take the time to video their car, because there's a lot of things. We can use it. They maybe have our valve covers. We can drop a picture out, put it on our website. This is a customer that actually has our valve covers, Cam idles have been great because they're filming their car. It sounds great. I'll go look and they got one of our cams, and so we'll post that. And just the other part is just sharing their stories, amazing stories from, man, it came in with people with, guy had a bike wreck, was paralyzed. He converted his Trans Am a lot like yours, converted the Trans Am over to, it's got paddle shifters.
No kidding.
Can't wait to get his story. His story's going to be online. It's an amazing story. That's
awesome.
A guy of faith that just didn't let something like that keep him down. Now he can enjoy his Trans Am.
Oh,
so
I love it.
Stuff like that. What we saw is it was family. Man, is where dad picks up a car so he can spend time with the kids working on it. So it's just been amazing. It's been refreshing for us. And then it's just like, hey, that's got a Butler engine. Hey, that's got Butler valve covers. Man, that thing don't even have a Butler part on it. Who cares? We still share that. Like, it doesn't matter to us. So it's been a really cool thing to see all this stuff just pour in, and we're overwhelmed. Like 3 days, I'm sorting through videos and pictures and asking for car details, and so we're going to be sharing a whole.
Oh, that's very cool.
Whole lot of cool stuff.
And that'll be on the website then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So we get enough of a car. We'll post it in our car gallery. And then also you'll see shorts come out. You're going to see featured cars of the week or month. It tells the people story. It's got all their stuff with it. Yeah, that stuff's going to be coming out.
Well, I can't imagine there's that many Pontiacs out there that don't have something from Butler on there. I mean, they got to be few and far between at this point.
It probably is, but and you get those guys that they got a good original car that they've just been fortunate and lucky that they didn't have to
build it from the ground up kind of thing.
And that's the thing we try to tell people is we also still do those original cars that want to stay stock stroke. They want to stay with cast iron heads. We still will build cast iron heads. We'll still port cast iron heads. You know, it's not our favorite thing to do. It's a lot of manual labor still.
I'll bet, yeah, just grinding them
We
out.
put them in CNC and we walk away from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still do that stuff because it needs to be original. We still will take care of that customer, and you know, we do some race stuff, but we like to do things for the muscle car, the guy that's going to really show his car off. He's going to drive it on the weekend, go to car shows, and his daughter's going to drive it to the prom, and like that's the kind of stories we get. And that's, you know, we love that stuff, and it makes the cars more drivable, enjoyable,
more fun.
Transmission like yours.
I'll have an overdrive.
You're overdrive.
Oh,
You're
missus
not
will have an
gonna be
overdrive.
crazy RPM, just
Yeah.
killing your engine while you're on the bypass. You know, these bypasses and interstates. So, you know, it's just a lot of modern conversions that just make the car more fun to drive.
More drivable,
enjoyable,
more fun,
you know.
yeah.
So,
But then the Pontiac torque's there when you want to stomp on
that's
it.
exactly right.
It's funny. The missus was going, well, how do I do a burnout? You got to teach me how to do a burnout. And I said, when we get all this stuff from Butler in there, you just got to push the little skinny pedal on the right, and it'll do it all day long.
Yeah, we there's a lot. It's funny on the social media that comes in is like there's guys that'll use the brakes and burn out, and
try to load it
other
up.
Guys are just they're powering and burn out just with the gas pedal. So it really does. That's the one thing it does that people don't realize. You take a 400, just like yours, that was 3.75 stroke. We're going to put a stroker crank in. There's only a little bit of clearancing to the block. It's not a crazy amount of stuff you have to do to the block.
So we're adding a ½ inch of stroke, basically.
So just you're adding a ½ inch of stroke. What you're doing now is you'll be at 460 to 467 cubic inch. You're literally now larger than the 455.
Yeah.
You know, so, and the thing is that stroke is instant torque. So if you look at our dyno charts, you know, you want to see the big X because the torque is immediate and it climbs and climbs and climbs. You know, and power comes in obviously, but the torque starts high and goes down, and then the horsepower climbs as it goes. But it's amazing, and that's the fun part of driving. That's the stop sign, the stop sign. Red light, red light.
Yeah, just having fun. I love it.
So it's awesome.
Pontiac power. Well, thank you very much. It's been awesome. Appreciate the tour and all the help. Like I say, pulling all this together.
Yeah.
All right, what you got there?
I just wanted to show you something that's really cool. It's like kids at Christmas.
Yeah.
So for your second gen F body fans, this is something that we developed ourselves. You just couldn't find this, and what this is this is a high performance engine mount.
Okay.
Which is the frame side. Nobody made this, and so what they would do is they would take the old clamshell mount that you've seen, the one that's in your car now.
Right.
They would drill out the rivets, take it apart, put like a prothane or energy suspension little insert in, sandwich it back in, and zip tie it, and
Zip tied.
it worked, but it wasn't pretty. So you know, just sitting at the desk one day, I'm like, there's just no reason why we can't just make a billet one. So here you go. So what we've done is we designed it, we did it. All the dimensions are based on the factory mount. So this fits in the exact same place as your factory mount.
Yep.
Same height, engine height, everything. Works with all your factory mounts, your factory engine side mount. But they have a custom bushing that was designed and poured just for this mount because nobody made one. So then it's got a sleeve. So this is the new
that's
billet
beautiful.
mount for the second gen Trans Am. We love this. It's a beautiful piece. But anyway,
That's so nice. Such a shame it's going to be
you know?
hidden way up
Yeah,
underneath the edge. You'll never see it.
But the cool thing is, it's you know, it's going to give you it's going to give you a performance mount. It's going to have some dampening, but it's going to be strong.
Pretty
enough
much
to
solid.
handle all the torque.
Yeah.
That,
Oh, that's lovely.
it's going to have. So
Well done.
cool.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So this is the 204R transmission, Art Car transmission, CPT, California Performance Transmissions. They build these, they custom build them, all new innards. They basically just use the stock shell and they put everything new on the inside. And these things are actually dyno tested and are good for up to 750 horsepower. So they took a look at the tire size, the car, the 373s I had in the back, and they calculated the torque converter that'll match up good with this. And this transmission's rated for up to 750 horsepower, so we should be just fine with this. It is an overdrive transmission, which is going to be nice, so I won't just be revving out going down the highway, or I guess the missus won't be revving out going down the highway. And then look at this. I'm going to leave it wrapped up because it's nice and protected, but isn't that awesome? So this is the engine. All safe and sound at Twin Stick Garage. Here's a big pile of the gear that I've been collecting up. So we got stainless steel headers from Doug's Headers. I mean, stainless steel, that's so cool. I'm so excited about that. Got the intake manifold from Edelbrock, made with pride in the USA. Isn't that pretty? America. I got Eagle crank, Eagle rods. What else we got? We got cold case radiator, the pipes, exhaust, whole bunch of stuff from Butler. There's the torque converter that CPT sized up and made for the car. There's the comp cams with the Butler grind for all you gearheads. There's the exact numbers, but I think that thing's gonna be nice and choppy. I got a Holley Sniper 2.0, latest and greatest from Holley. A few new fuel tanks, so it's all new back to front. I can't wait to install all of that. There, of course, is the cylinder heads. And I've also got this, Butler got me in touch with this company called Gen 1. They make these specialized brake boosters because when you have really lumpy cams, high lift, long duration, the stock brake booster doesn't really have the same oomph. It does it well because it's just so low vacuum at idle. So it almost turns into manual brakes. So that's a specialized brake booster for F-body Camaros. So I'm looking forward to installing that with the Willwood brake caliper, the master cylinder and brake calipers. Now, the main reason I haven't started installing all the Willwood, because I have had that stuff for a while, is because the Hotchkiss rear leaf springs, rear sway bar, and frame connectors are on back order. I'm still waiting for those to come in so I can actually put wheels on the back of the car. And then I still got to do, obviously, the body work. I need my buddy Blake to come and help me weld in those corners. And yeah, I mean, I figure I can get this car, with any luck, on the road by next summer. So that's going to be the goal, is to work on it through the winter. Now, you'll probably also notice that I've got the lift turned sideways. The car was always pointed this way for the longest time so I could back Snowman under it. And there was a couple of reasons for that. The first up is my Gratz gantry was over top of the Duke, and when the lift was sideways, I couldn't sneak it by. So I had to turn the lift, or I had to move the lift around. Now, that's the beauty of the Wildfire lifts, is you can just actually put the wheels on there, lower it down, and then just give it a spin. Never moved it with the car on it before, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, it'd be nicer to have a little bit of help, but old Twin Sticks was able to get it moved around. And so now what I might do, I mean, as sad as it is, I might leave Snowman outside now, maybe for the winter, because it's just going to be easier to work on, and it gives me a lot more room. And I've got another cool thing that just arrived today, actually. It's the Vivor inflatable paint booth. Now I'm really excited about that because I can actually, it's not big enough to do the Peterbilt, unfortunately, but I can actually just set it up. It'll fill out this stall, and I can put the Trans Am in there, and then I can paint this winter because you can just have the exhaust paint fumes go right out under the door. So that's going to be awesome. And then I don't have to hang tarps or nothing, so I won't have a bunch of overspray. So I'm really excited to try that out down the road once I get all the body work done on this car. So that's the update on the Trans Am. Lots of cool stuff coming on the Bandit one. Or like I say, I should rename it the Frog one build. But there was one more thing that I wanted to show you that I actually got recently. All right, so as you know, I'm not only building the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am from the movie Smokey and the Bandit. I've also got the 77 Pontiac Le Mans. I'm trying to build up the Buford cop car so I can have the trifecta, I say, the Buford car, the Snowman truck, and the Bandit 1 Trans Am. So I found that car earlier this year. I bought it. It was out of province, but I mean, it was such a find to find the baby blue interior with a 4-door 77 Le Mans that wasn't trashed, because nobody kept 4-door cars. And so I went and picked it up. Now, because it was out of province, it needed a formal inspection. So I took it to a great company here in town, Park Muffler, just inside of Sherwood Park. And they're a great bunch of guys there. They really helped me out with it. They actually helped me delete my diesel, put the dual exhaust on my daughter's car, and then they helped me with this. So it had a leaky fuel tank. It needed, brakes, wheel bearings, input seal and the diff. So since it was there, I just thought, look, I'll drop ship you guys the parts. You put them on there, put the windshield in, and then give me the certificate so I can get a license and registration and a plate. So I'm good on the car now. And let me tell you, I love driving that car. I mean, it's just a big old boat, but I mean, I'm a kid from the 70s, and just riding around in those old boat cars, it's like a time capsule, listening to a scratchy AM radio. If you're a guy or a gal that grew up in the 70s or 80s, I highly recommend going out and getting yourself a boat like that, because it's such a treat to drive. Anytime I go to the grocery store or whatever, I can't say enough good things about it. So anyway, trying to build it into the Buford car, it needs a little bit of body work, it needs brown paint, and it needs a couple of Montauk or Montague, I think it's called Montague County, but I guess locals call it Montauk, and stickers on the door, the sheriff stickers. But the most important piece to actually turn it into a Buford cop car is the federal twin beacon lights. Now, I never thought I was going to fight it. Look at this. This is perfect. Movie corrected everything.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
I'm so tickled. This is like when I found the police scanner for Snowman. So I started doing some research. I started looking for the lights, and you could find the lights themselves in various condition. Either the 11s or the Model 14s that are a little newer, slightly different. The 11s were right from the movie. And I never thought I was going to be able to find a complete setup like this. So this is actually from a collector, a great guy by the name of Scott. Now, this guy collects lights like I collect trucks. He has got just a gorgeous collection dating all the way back to the 30s. Just these cool lights that you wonder how. He goes, don't ever take this apart, Mark. You'll never get it back together. Not this one, but some other ones that he had from the 30s. Just these parabolic lenses, how they would turn on gears. I mean, the engineering of these lights. 1938 light was one of the ones he showed me, and I was so impressed by that. So he actually found this at a yard sale, if you can believe it. And he didn't want to part with it until I reached out and I actually told him about the Smokey and the Bandit, the Buford car. And he's like, you know what, Mark, my parents had owned a theater in the little town that we lived in when I was growing up. And the year that Smokey and the Bandit came out, they would play a showing of it, an afternoon showing every day. That's how popular that movie was. I think a lot of people don't realize that. But so he said, once I realized that you were going to build the Buford car with it, I was willing to part with it. So he actually, before he sold it to me, he took it all apart. So that the motor there, and then the chain drive that goes through and then turns the other one, so they kind of turn in sequence. He rebuilt all that and oiled the chain and had to feed the chain back in on this little tray and then put it all back together. So I'm so tickled that he was able to do all of that. And here, I'll show you it working. Now this battery's kind of dead. This is the old battery out of the Trans Am. But you get the idea, huh? Isn't that cool? Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, Mark, yeah, it's great. It's movie correct, except it's the wrong color. And that's very true. The amber lenses are easy to find. The red ones are a little harder, but the blue lenses are like unicorns. They don't exist. So Scott actually had 2 blue lenses, and he was willing to part with them. New old stock. I don't even know where he got them. Look, they're still wrapped in plastic. Isn't this awesome? Though the plastic's so old, it's 40-year-old plastic. It's coming apart as I take it apart. So look at that. So the way this works is these guys just kind of snap out. Yeah, there you go. And the lens goes on. Beautiful. And now we are Buford T. Justice chasing the Bandit. So that is so cool. I'm really excited about that. Can't thank you enough, Scott, for being willing to part with this light bar. It's going to a good home. Can't wait to get it on the Buford car. Obviously, I still need to do all the body work on it, so I'll hold off trying to mount it. I got the mounting arms as well. Now, there's these guys just kind of go down and clamp under the lip of the roof there, but we're missing some of them. So I might get Blake to help me with either manufacturing replicas or making our own, but we're going to figure that out. So That is pretty cool. That is the missing piece for the Buford car, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks again for watching. Special shout out to Butler Performance. You guys are awesome. Perfect. Can't wait to put that engine together and put it in this car. It's going to be fantastic. Shout out to CPT for building me that transmission and having it drop shipped to Butler. I really appreciate that. And really wanted to thank you, the viewer, for watching all these episodes, supporting them, commenting down below, coming back every Thursday to watch the next episode. And yeah, as long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep making them. Tune in next week for more sanding. Well, maybe I won't do much sanding, but tune in next week for maybe some primer on the Peterbilt, and I can finally get that thing over the hump. So yeah, with that, I'll wrap it up there. Thanks again for watching, and don't ever forget, if you got it, truckers brought it. I was wondering if you can give me a little bit of history on Butler Performance and kind of where it started and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started as a family business. Started with Jim Butler, our dad, my brother and I's dad, Jim, my mom. It was a true family business. We all worked together. I've done this all our lives.
Yeah.
My brother and I have. It's all we've ever done. And so started, I mentioned before, my first car was a 77 Trans Am. I got that when I was 12.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No driver's license? You
No,
barely see
no.
over the steering wheel probably?
No, I literally, funny story, I had cushions in the seat to drive it around. I sure did. And so Dad owned the drag strip, local drag strip.
He owned his own drag strip? I didn't know that. Okay.
Sure did. Ran it for 30 years, going on 30 years. And so we could race when we were 12 because Dad owned the track.
Nice.
Yeah, and so my first car was a 77, and my brother's first car was a 65 GTO. Dad had been restoring GTOs himself. He had them in the 60s, and then in the early 80s got back into it. And then the racing our own cars led to us building our own engines, and that led to the engine business. And
But
so
it was always Pontiac.
always Pontiac.
Your dad was just set, like there was nothing else.
Oh, he loved GTOs from the time he was a teenager. The first time he ever saw one in high school, like a lot from that generation. And my first ride in a GTO, I remember it like it was yesterday. He had a Mayfair Maze 65 GTO, the first one he fixed up in the 80s when he got back into GTOs. And I remember riding in the back of that car. He had a tri-power. When the 3 deuces opened up, I'll never forget that sound.
Took off.
He went through the gears, through the 4-speed, and you know, at that point, maybe I was 8 or 10 years old, and I was hooked ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So your dad started at what year would have been kind of the initial kick? Early 70s, mid 70s?
No, early 80s.
Early 80s.
Early 80s, yeah, when we started restoring cars, building GTOs, and that's how he got in. And once he got the drag strip, he started building our race cars and building engines for that. And that's when he really got into the performance end of it. And then as a business, he started advertising the High Performance Pontiac magazine in the mid to late 80s.
Okay.
And that's when it really became a business, not just a hobby at that point.
So it evolved.
Yeah, oh yeah, it evolved from a hobby, like a lot of businesses do.
Sure.
And for us, it was a necessity. We couldn't afford to pay anybody else to build our own engines, so we had to learn how to do it.
Ah, okay. And so then, how did you took what Pontiac had? Did you start making your own innovations? When did that all kind of start?
Yeah, he there were some guys that he looked to. You know, in the 70s there was Nunzi and through the 80s and beyond, but Nunzi and HO and those guys, and he looked at those guys and talked to those guys, and that helped. And then we had some local builder that had been doing Pontiacs for years, and his name was Bob Crawford. He's passed now, but had some of the fastest Pontiacs that out there ever at the time. But he used all the factory stuff because that's all we had. And he actually helped Dad on head porting, on how to port heads and things like that. And then Dad took it from there, and then we started porting heads too. I started porting heads when I was, I guess, 13 or 14.
No kidding.
Cast iron heads. Oh yeah, for sure. Ported a lot of cast iron heads. I can still hear the ringing in my ears. But, yeah. So that's how he kind of got into with some mentors, I guess you would say, and then other than that, it was just tons of trial and error. And having our own cars, our own drag strip, that's what he called, that was his dyno, was the drag strip.
Because he could tell if the time was better, it worked. If
Absolutely.
it wasn't,
And
with that
so
idea.
we would actually change things on the cars and go up during the week, because we'd go any time. And so we've done huge amounts of testing on the drag strip. And of course, we had street cars too. Dad had always had GTOs and that he drove and played with. But having that drag strip, that was really testing the performance.
Yeah, that's a hell of a test cell.
Yeah, to know.
Is that drag strip still there, or is it all gone?
Yes, he rebuilt it in '96, completely rebuilt it. I think it was IHRA Track of the Year in '97.
Really?
And ran it till just a few years ago, and then someone else has it now. And
So it's still
they're running it.
active?
Still active.
And
yeah.
is it local to?
Local. It's 5 miles up the road from our shop.
Oh,
here.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So then, when did you and your brother kind of get involved on the business side of it?
Really, we were working, like I always worked after school and weekends. We worked at the track, worked on our own cars through high school, and then after high school, it was a full-time job from that point on, and always has been.
And then the business has continued to grow, and now you send parts all over the world. And Butler's the biggest for Pontiac. There's nobody else out there.
Well, we do a
Pontiac
lot.
engines.
We do a lot, and
Yeah.
we work hard, and we've got a lot of great customers. And even sometimes I have to look around and think, wow, there's this many Pontiacs still out there, and we got, like you said, we got customers all over the world.
Oh, it's
And
fantastic.
It really
Keeping it alive.
amazes us to this day. Still.
Well, and everyone's, a lot of the, obviously, when I first brought that Trans Am home, started tearing it apart, people would go, oh, put an LS in it, do an LS swap. It's like,
Right.
no. It's a Pontiac. You're going to put Pontiac power in a Pontiac car.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're absolutely for that. Over the years, we get a lot of calls for LS stuff, but it was always customers of ours who had, say, a 65 GTO,
Yeah.
and then they bought an 05 GTO, or they bought a 2000 Trans Am.
Yeah, the more modern
So they
version.
would automatically call us. So we did a separate website. We do some LS parts, but mainly we specialize in Pontiac branded LS parts.
Yeah.
One thing we don't do, and you won't find it there, is any swap.
No swap kits
There's
on the shelf here?
no swap kits. So that's
I
not.
like it that way.
Yeah, we're Pontiac, traditional Pontiac guys, through and through, and glad to help some of the later model guys with Pontiacs.
Yeah.
But again, don't call us for swap stuff, because that's not what we do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, once again, I can't thank you enough for all the awesome work that you did
Yeah.
pulling that engine together. And now, like I said, I just got to go and piece it all together. And
Yeah.
I'll be calling for any help along the way. And I really look
that's-
forward to getting it running.
And that's what we do. When we do these kits, we spec everything out. We hope you have every nut and bolt that you need. Every gasket should be there.
Okay.
And then any tech you need, that's what the guys do. We're on the phones, emails all day.
So I can call a friend if I'm
Call
sitting in the shop there. and
Phone a
something's not
friend
quite
if you
right.
need it. If you have a problem that you can't figure out. That's what we do.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Dave. Been great meeting you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.